Okay, let's run.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it.
It's a quest. It's a quest for fun.
Well, The Rock says, why don't we just cut right to the chase?
Okay, now he wants to get together. Well, he wants to talk.
I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about me.
It's showtime, folks!
What are you?
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to And I Quotes, the weekly show where we introduce you to content creators of all shapes and sizes that join us from any and all corners of the nerd universe. We find out more about them by taking your questions. I am your host, Ryan of Nerd Culture, and our guest on this episode is comic writer and artist of Philbo Publishing. Please welcome Guido Martinez. Guido, how you doing tonight, kind sir?
Hi, Ryan. Thanks for having me. I'm fine, thanks. Glad to be here.
Well, we're very happy that you are here. If you have any questions for Guido Martinez as we go throughout the course of this episode, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat, and don't forget to like and share this with all of your closest friends. With that being said, Guido, how were you first introduced to the world of comics? In other words, when did you start reading them growing up?
Hard to pick a specific date. I believe it was the late 90s. But yes, I was introduced because I was really high on the superhero cartoons of the 90s. You know, Batman, but mostly the Marvel shows, Spider-Man, X-Men, Incredible Hulk, and I started also getting some comics, mostly Spider-Man and X-Men. Then I moved on to the Avengers. I also got hooked on the Ultra Force back then. Few people remember the Ultraverse, but it was a big deal, at least for me. And then it started becoming a habit of getting the comic books, and collecting some of them, and then eventually, when as I grow up, I started saying, "Hey, I really want to create some of my own." And well, here we are. It's been a long road uh, full of challenges, but here we are, trying to get our book out there and into as many hands as possible.
Rock on, rock on. Thank you for sharing that with us. Who would you say are some of your favorite comic book writers or artists, past or present?
Well, that's a very long list. Well, off the top of my head, I'd have to say writers, Warren Ellis, Gail Simone, probably also uh, lately, Jonathan Hickman, um, on the also, well, Scott Snyder. He's done some great stuff. Rick Remender also, mostly his indie works. Those are really great. Oh yes, Robert Kirkman. Uh, I can't not mention, not bring him up. As for artists, well, I have a lot of artists, favorite artists. Of course, I'd have to mention the late great George Perez. Uh, I own many of the books he drew, and they're truly works of art. Every panel is a work of art on his books. Is truly amazing. I think if I'd have to pick, if somebody asked me my favorite artist, even if I can't pick a single one, George Perez would be the first name that I mention. Then, of course, I other great artists that I loved. Um, David Finch, of course, cover artist Alex Ross. Who else? Yeah, a lot of artists come to mind, but it's hard to name them all. Ivan Reis. Yes, sorry, there's just too many. Mark Bagley. Uh, I have a lot that I really want to mention. Mike Diodato, but I think that honestly, we're gonna stay until tomorrow, and I'm gonna just keep naming artists. So, yeah, for now, let's close with those. I'm sure I will regret closing with just those, but that's all the time I have, and you kind of well uh, caught me off guard with that. I should have brought a list.
It's a it's okay. It's okay. No worries here. What would you say are some of your favorite comic book based movies or TV series past or present? You mentioned a few of them earlier, but are there any other names that stand out to you?
Yes, in the TV shows, um, I'd have to say Daredevil, uh, the Netflix shows were fantastic. Uh, I'd have to say Daredevil, The Boys. Uh, I would also add Invincible, but it's a cartoon, so I feel like that should be a whole other list. But yeah, those are I would say are the best ones for me. Actually, The Boys, in many levels, The Boys changed and I think even improved on the base material. I read the comics, and even though it had some great moments, the TV show really improved on a lot of characterizations, and it's fantastic. Then, other TV shows. Yes, I really loved Agents of Shield actually, uh, and yes, out of the out of the newest ones, I'm not sure if the others actually measure up to those, but at least those are my favorites, my favorite picks for TV shows. Then comic book movies, uh, The Dark Knight. I don't think it's gonna be hard to top that. The the performance by Heath Ledger was amazing. Uh, then I would have to say Infinity War. It was when I remember going into the theater, the sensation I was like, how the hell are they gonna cram up around 30 characters into one single movie and give each and every one of them something to do? And they pulled it off. I really think Infinity War is the best Marvel movie out there, even outshining Endgame. Uh, so yeah, I would have to say that one. What else? Deadpool. Deadpool kind of broke the genre in more than one way. It wasn't just a heartfelt action comedy, but it also was true to the source material, and it really turned my head around after that horrible Deadpool that they gave us in Wolverine Origins. Uh, Watchmen was also a great adaptation, at least for me, hated by many people, but to me at least, I loved it. Then, 300 also, it's a great comic book movie, very faithful to the source material. Since we're on the Zack Snyder subject, and finally, I really want to bring up um, X-Men: Days of Future Past and Spider-Man as and Spider-Man 2 by Raimi by as bonus mentions because they really deserve to be up there.
I would 100% agree with you. To me, I think X-Men Days Future Past is definitely one of my I think it's the best X-Men movie we're ever going to get. I don't know how the MCU is going to do it, nor do I really care. With all due respect to Marvel Studios, there's a lot of
Mhm.
craziness going on there right now as it is. And you mentioned Spider-Man 1 and 2. I mean, I grew up watching the Spider-Man movies, so yeah, the original two of the best. I can still watch them to this day, still enjoy it with with a nice smile on my face. And it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch. So I'm not gonna argue that point. And once again, we are talking with Guido Martinez of Philbo Publishing on this episode of And I Quote. Don't forget to like and share this with all of your closest friends. If you have any questions for Guido, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. Whether you are joining us live or on the replay, thank you for being with us. We do greatly appreciate it. When did you start becoming an indie comic book writer, Guido?
Hmm. I guess that's about 2009, 2010, maybe. I started writing some scripts of series, and I started pitching them to people who were starting their own publishing firms who were looking for comics to publish. Uh, I got a few replies. One of them. One of them back then, Marcel Dupree, I'll mention him from Evoluzione. He said, "Hey, this sounds really good. If you can put together the comics, I'll publish them." And well, there were some issues back then. Gathered, I, I did two books, sorry, three for Marcel. On my own, I gathered the art teams and we started working on the pages. Originally, the deal was to split the profits. That was a rather naive uh, goal from our side, and well, we learned the hard way that it was extremely hard to make sales. And so, well, after trying to get the books out there, selling them individually, we eventually decided to, okay, let's stop here. This isn't working. Then several years went by, and Marcel came back to me and said, "Hey, I'm starting everything up back again. You want in? Sure." So again, we tried. It wasn't selling quite much. Um, after finding out that well, Evoluzione had much better selling titles, Night was taking a back seat in the queue to get a spot on the Kickstarter list. So we had a friendly chat, and I said, "Hey, I really don't think Night is ever going to get a spot on your list because you have so many other priorities right now." So I reached out to Philip Russert from from Philbo. I was a fan of one of the books he put out, Tragedy, and well, I sent him a pitch if he would want to publish Night, and he said, "Hey, yes, this looks really good. Let's go for it." So that is why right now I'm we're selling Night, the whole compiled Act One, which would be the Volume One, compiling the first four issues that had been previously released under Evoluzione, a different publisher. So we wanted to start fresh. We wanted to start with the trade, not release individual issues that had already been released. So this trade does have some bonus material, and it will be published and distributed exclusively by Philbo. If people have the back issues published by Evoluzione, I don't know, maybe keep them. Who knows? Perhaps they will be worth something someday. I'm not trying to drive up the speculation price, but just calling it as it is. We are now trying to push the sale of the trade. You get four issues, the first story arc complete, plus some bonus material, which we can discuss if you once you bring up the there it is, our Kickstarter page. You can look it up, or I can paste the link right here. Give me a second. And
Oh,
well,
yes, by all means, please do.
basically to tell you a bit about Night. Well, as you can see, we're just 70 bucks away from the funding goal, and then it's on to stretch goal territory. We have a few surprise stretch goals, so we would really like to get there. Basically, you have a glimpse of the interior art. You will notice a change in the style of the artist because, like I said, we this was a work done over many years. Uh, the first two issues were drawn between 2010 and 2011. Issues 3 and 4 were drawn from 2017 onwards, I think. And issue 5 is actually already drawn and colored and lettered. So once we deliver, once we deliver these two backers, we will we will take a couple months to get the backers to read their books, and then we'll be back to kickstart issue 5, which will be completely new, something completely unreleased so far. And issue 6 is actually right around the corner. It's halfway through production, so hopefully, who knows, by the time we release issue 5, I trust issue 6 will be done and we'll probably have already started issue 7. I really want this series to continue. Right now, I have the main story planned as in 3 acts. So this is just Act 1, then would come Act 2, and finally Act 3. Everything that comes after Act 3, I have them planned, and I really would like to get there. So who knows if the book is successful, if I can continue funding it. Yes, I want to keep this series going. Uh, so a bit about Night. Um, what's the story here? Other than I've already covered the story behind the pages. So what's the story inside the pages, inside the book? So I should have brought a glass of water. So Knight is a vigilante looking for his identity, his purpose. He's not sure of who he is, of why he is, why he exists, what's his goal in life. So during in the first issue, you will see him chasing a man, abducting him from the streets, a man who apparently has done nothing wrong, but Knight still grabs him off the streets and throws him up on his shoulder and starts jumping from one rooftop to the other. Eventually, it will be revealed that this man and Knight look exactly the same, like they're long lost twins or something weird, but they have the same face. That is the first 5 pages, I believe. As of then, Knight will explain what is going on as far as he knows, because he doesn't understand the full story. He doesn't have the full, the full, the full biography to himself. He just has pieces, and that is what the reader will get. Some of the pieces. The Knight's origin will be kept more or less a mystery, but the reader will get enough breadcrumbs to start figuring it out themselves, to start, I don't know, bringing up, uh, making up fan theories. Everything is welcome, please. Let me have those fan theories. If you get my book, read it, shoot me with your fan theories. I really want to hear them. I want to see how the readers understand this. And basically, that is the start of Knight's journey. Then, along the way, he will meet a woman with powers as well. Her name is Whisper, and she presents Knight with a mission, a quest. She needs Knight's help to bring down to bring down an evil sorcerer that that can give other people powers, and and his Praetorians are wreaking havoc around the city streets. Then Whisper needs Knight's help to stop them all. The evil sorcerer's Praetorians are an assassin, a necromancer who can raise the dead, and a, a large monster that breathes fire called Dragon Breath. So, having heard this, I I hope that I'm being as original as I can. I I really think that, at least to my knowledge, uh, I haven't read any comic where with such a story, with such a selection of characters and power sets on display. So I really hope that if you read this book, if you get it, you can you'll be able to appreciate that as well as the story that we're crafting. The originality between the characters and the ensemble. Uh, well, what else can I say about the story and the characters? Well, just to stick around because new characters are coming in future issues. Actually, some of the new characters will be introduced in a short 8-page story at the end of the trade, and I hope that gives you a glimpse, a teaser, and gets you hyped for what's coming up next in the second arc. Um, well, I think that's pretty much it for the story. The bonuses that you'll be getting, you won't only be getting the first 4 issues and this short 8-page bonus story. You will also be getting the cover gallery with every cover that's been used or unused. Basically, this covers variants for each issue, and I think an unused pinup that wasn't officially uh, printed up until now will be included as well. Then you will get to see in the pages the first this character design sketches by the artist Mauricio Campetela, um, with my comments. And finally, you will get well, sort of uh, a retelling of the story behind Night, of how I started, uh, where I want to take the story, what were my challenges, what are my challenges right now, and well, sort of a catharsis, probably. Yeah, sort of taking this burden off my chest, trying to get the readers to sit in my seat and put on my shoes, even for a couple of pages. So, well, if it's just a bit of extra reading, perfect for people who are a fan of wanting to learn how it is like on the other side of the fiction, right? I'm a big fan of always when I or when I read a book or when I watch a movie, I'm a big fan of watching the creators talk about it, talk about their process. So if the readers are like that, I think they will appreciate the extra commentary. And or well, or maybe if they have a long bathroom break ahead of them, this might help fill up the time. Who knows? Then well, I wouldn't be here, of course, uh, without the art of Mauricio Campetela. He does the line art for Night. since issue one. And as I said, his style has evolved significantly throughout the book. If you see some of the pages, you will notice some of the pages he was heavily influenced by Ariel Olivetti and David Finch. And in others, you can see his influences have shifted more to Oliver Coipel. I hope I'm pronouncing it properly. I think he's European or something like that. Um, and Stuart Immonen. He's mentioned to me. Those are his biggest influences nowadays. Then, um, well, other than that, yes, I've done the writing and the letters for it. And yes, we've had other team members that are all properly credited in the book, but I can't stop thanking Mauricio for staying with us since the beginning. And well, actually, we've built sort of a friendship relationship, even though we've never met face to face. Although I've tried. But yes, we've developed. I consider him a friend already, and yeah. So feel free to look him up. Feel free to try to pick up other books by him. His art is great, and he puts a lot of thought into composition, paneling, uh, making everything as dynamic as possible. Actually, he was the lead artist for the last volume of Fathom from Aspen Comics. They stopped publishing right right when the pandemic hit, and well, and a lot of stuff got closed, quarantined. But yeah, that I think that was the job that got him the biggest exposure, and something that's probably easy to get in comic book shops. Um, well, what else can we say that I haven't mentioned? I don't know. Ryan, if you got any questions, feel
Oh,
free to
yes. Yes, of course. And we thank you for sharing that with us. And once again, we are here with Guido Martinez on this episode of And I Quote, indie comic book writer extraordinaire, this young man is. Let us know if you have any comments or questions for him in the comments or the live chat. Whether you are joining this live or on the replay, thank you for being here. And do not forget to like and share this with all of your closest friends. Guido, what would you say are some of the biggest rewards about being an indie comic book writer, in your opinion?
well, the rewards. Um, I'd say the biggest reward is the freedom. You you get to create whatever you want, however you want. Uh, of course, uh, every freedom isn't without its efforts, right? Because when you try to get things as you want, uh, it takes time, it takes money, but eventually, uh, just the act of creating something really makes me proud, really, to seeing, touching stuff I've created. Uh, it's a sensation that's truly amazing, and having people uh, read your work and praising it and saying how much, coming to me and telling me how much they love it, that's not how do you say it, that it doesn't come very often, but when it comes, it really hits me. uh, it it's a great sensation that people love my work. It's really encouraging, and it's what keeps me going forward. uh, of course, being an indie comic book writer is more challenges than actual rewards, but the what little rewards I get are worth fighting through all the challenges.
There you go, man. There you go. Appreciate you sharing that with us. On the flip side of the coin, though, What would you say are some of the biggest challenges about being an indie comic book writer?
Well, the biggest challenge is obviously funding, getting getting money to continue producing your books. Uh, Also, of course, getting the book out there. Uh, it's not easy convincing people to buy your books. Uh, I'm not a very sociable person, not neither online nor offline. So it's hard for me. I really had to get out of my comfort zone to try to sell the book, to try to make sure as many people as possible see what I'm offering and try to get them hooked. So um, those are definitely the biggest challenges. Uh, Money to produce the book and finding an audience, marketing it. Those are definitely the biggest challenges. Lucky for me, I've teamed up with a great company, Philbo. Philip Russert really believes in the book, in the product, in the brand. So he's really helping. He wants me to succeed, and I trust that with him we will make this book something at least memorable in the hearts of our fans.
There you go, my friend. There you go. And Philip, we've had the pleasure, I should say, of having Philip Russert on this very program known as And I Quote. That is located on our And I Quote playlist on this channel that you are currently watching or listening to at the moment. He's a great guy, big supporter of all kinds of indie creators out there. So definitely check out Philbo Publishing and Philip Russert because that man doesn't sleep. I don't think he ever does. He's a he's a he's a hard worker, and believe me when I tell you, it's true what they say. Hard work pays off in the long run. So there you go. Way to go, Philip Russert. You're the man. 2 thumbs up, and we want to give a shout out to him as well. Wish you the best, Philip.
Of course.
And then with everything moving forward, that is, excuse me, that is for certain. Have there been any special memories for you, Guido, from being at conventions, whether you are there as a vendor or there as an attendee?
Um, well, so far I've always been there as an attendee. Uh, I haven't been I haven't been fortunate enough to own the to carry as many print copies to sell. So yes, as an attendee, I just love the camaraderie, the the whole how can I say, the whole environment, the atmosphere. I mean, it's it's not that often for me to come across so many people that love the same things I love. So the best I could compare it is possibly to I don't know, going to a concert. When you go to a concert, you know you'll be surrounded by people who love the same things that you, who are here to see the same things that you, and who are ready to cheer as loud as they can. So that's sort of how I feel. Immersing myself, being surrounded by comic book fans, by geeks, by nerds. Let's yeah, that's amazing. We can I know I can talk, I can engage in debates that can get as as fiery as possible, and I'm certain it won't end in physical violence. Just people respecting, even though maybe hating each other's opinions. It's a great place to to find friends and just to share common love and passion for fiction that we love. So yes, I don't have a specific memory that I want to share. Just the sensation, the feeling of being out there. Of I don't know, the just maybe you can start a conversation as easy as saying, "Hey, cool shirt. Hey, thanks. You like it too? Yeah." You know, it's it's just as simple as that. If I'm walking down the street and I say to someone, "Cool shirt," it may lead to a fight. I don't know. So you never know with people, but no, not there. It's I
No,
love the environment. That's it. Yeah,
mhm.
let's close it with that.
No, that's okay. I completely understand that. I completely understand that. So I want to let you know that this episode of And I Quote is powered by Poddex. Now, Poddex are unique interview questions and episode starting prompts in the palm of your hand. So, whether you are a new podcaster or existing broadcaster looking to grow your audience or get more engagement, you're going to want to check out poddex.com. Use the promo code Ryan10. That's RYAN10 for 10% off your first order. Do not miss out on that one, folks. So Poddex wants to know, Guido Martinez, you have $100,000. You have to donate or create a charity. What do you do?
Ah, well, honestly, I would create a charity. I'm still not sure uh, about what, but I would. But if it was so much money, I would definitely want to be in charge of deciding who gets it and how they get it, because there's so many charities out there and so many possible scams. I really wouldn't be sure who to trust. And if I trusted the wrong people with so much money, then it would all just go to waste. So yes, yeah, if it was that much, yes, I would definitely be involved. I would definitely see the money get to the hands of people who need it. Not just the money, but goods, services, whatever, being properly delivered. Yeah, no
All
questions.
right. There you go. There you go. What would you say is your recurring nightmare?
My recurring nightmare. Then, well, I don't real nightmare or just fear or just my biggest fear, because well, it's quite simple actually. My biggest fear, it's losing everything. Uh, I live in Argentina. Our economy isn't in the right spot right now. So if I know if I lost my job, then and I lost and I couldn't get another one, I would certainly start to lose everything. I would start to lose my house, the whatever I provide for my children, and yes, that is a very common fear that haunts me every day. I know I'm making it seem so grim. Honestly, it's something that I've learned to to live with every day, but it's a reality. That fear is always there. I just grew accustomed to it. Now, my recurring nightmare when I'm asleep, I would have to say, I don't know. I've dreamed many times that I don't that burglars break into my house. That's yeah. And yes, every time the and whenever I dream it, it may end differently. Who knows? Sometimes it ends with my dog killing them. Sometimes it ends with them shooting me and I wake up. Yeah, who knows? Whoever is in charge of programming the dreams in my brain. I don't know. Certainly, they need a vacation.
All right. Won't argue, can't say that I can't say that I can argue with you on that one. So there you go. If there was a sandwich named after you, what would be on the sandwich?
That's a great question. That's a great question. I'm going to steal it and use it in to break the ice in everyday conversations. Definitely, definitely, definitely eggs. Uh, probably, probably turkey. Um, cheese, of course. It's gotta have cheese. And uh, well, I've seen sandwiches with meatballs in them, and they're a bit challenging to eat. So less challenging than meatballs, I would put in nuggets, chicken nuggets. And yeah,
There,
I think that's it. I wouldn't want a sandwich this tall, so yeah,
we don't want to
that
turn
yes,
into the
I would
character.
definitely fit in my mouth.
There you go. Because I was going to say, we don't want to turn into the character known as Shaggy on Scooby Doo, where he stacks like 50 sandwiches on top of themselves and then shoves them down
Yeah,
his throat. Granted, that's a
yeah,
cartoon, so cartoon characters have more abilities than live action humans do, but that's beside the point.
of course. He's an
Right.
inspiration for my hair and the beard, but yeah, uh,
No.
I definitely need to lose some weight if I want to cosplay as him someday.
Well, you will get there. You will get there. Anything is possible, and goals are achievable if you just put in the work. So, like we were talking about earlier, hard work pays off in the long run. What technology or piece of technology do you wish existed?
Giant robots, mechas. Here, big fan of Messenger C. It's not very popular in English-speaking countries, but in Latin America and Spain, huge.
Oh,
It's I'd say bigger than Voltron here. So yeah, mechas. Yes, I want to see giant robots. I don't care if the world needs a machine that purifies water. I want to see giant robots that shoot their fists.
well, there you go. Nothing wrong with that. Hey, we've had movies and TV series that have featured giant robots fighting giant monsters. It's called kaiju movies or something
Yeah.
else like that. Who knows, right? But in that case, what do you value the most in your friends?
Uh, well, what I value the most in my friends that they're just from a friend. I would just expect that them to be there when I need them, to offer help when they see me down, to I don't know, to reply when I message them. That's the most I expect from my friends, because other than that, I have friends that I rarely see, but they do reply. I have friends that I see, I don't know, pretty often, and there I don't favor one over the other. Uh, I just I just thank them for being part of my life and for just being there. It's great just to sometimes just to chat with them, sometimes just to sitting in the same room as them. So yes, that is what I thank most of my friends, to be there, to that they don't disappear and never come back.
The more you know. With that being said, I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to Guido Martinez for being our guest on this episode of And I Quote. Guido, thank you for being here. We greatly appreciate you being here with us. And if the person watching or listening to this, how can they follow you on social media and keep up to date with everything that you have coming up?
Oh yeah, well, you can find me on Facebook and Twitter. Also, the night page on Facebook, which is basically Night by Guido Martinez. I will post the links here after we're done. On Twitter, I'm G underscore Mart8, and and on Facebook you can find me as Guido Martinez. I'll also post a link to my Facebook here. So I post content regularly. I post previews of the books that I'm working on, and I also share content by fellow creators. Sometimes creators that I know, sometimes just creators that I don't know, but I find their stuff worth sharing. So yes, it's not that I'm giving 100% seal of approval, but it's something that I definitely think people should check out.
Well, we appreciate you being here, Guido. Appreciate that. All the links can be found in the comments section of this video and also in the description of this video, where you can follow Guido Martinez and the people at Philbo Publishing and everything that they have coming up. Because like I said before, Philip Russert, kind sir, you don't sleep. You're a workaholic. But I dig it. I dig the work ethic, brother. Yeah. So with jeez. With that being said, once again, Guido, thank you for being with us. I'm going to talk to you in just a moment here, but you can follow me, Ryan of Nerd Culture, on Twitter and Instagram at RyanRPM5. Make sure you follow us across all forms of social media. We have a lot of great shows coming your way very soon, including more movie anniversary watch-alongs, including nerdy projects, including the brand new series that just debuted, Convention Chronicles, and the 30th anniversary celebration of Power Rangers is coming up on August the 28th, Monday, August the 28th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We are very excited to celebrate that property because if you were a 90s kid, such as myself, it's going to be Celebration of Morphin Time. The person who may be watching or listening to this, I'm just letting you know. There you go. So don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, ring that notification bell so you get notified when our new videos go up. And in the meantime, stay healthy, stay strong, stay safe. And remember, life is better when reading comics and supporting other indie creators. Take a look.
Famous Faces and Funnies in Melbourne, Florida is leading the way in pop culture fun. From comic books and graphic novels to Funko Pops and collector's items, Famous Faces and Funnies has it all. Rick Shea and the professional team at Famous Faces and Funnies are friendly and knowledgeable. Whether you're looking for toys, props, collector treasures, or a new comic book, Famous Faces and Funnies is your one-stop shop. To find Famous Faces and Funnies on Facebook and Twitter, just type at FFF Comics.
Sweet dreams they placed on me inside my mind. Chance my truth, twist the past, my memories are fading fast. Am I still missed? Who do you want me to be? Am I still missed?
You've worked hard and written a great book. Now, it's time to give it a great cover. If you're an indie author or small press publisher, Plasmafire Graphics is your source for affordable cover illustration and graphic design. Plasmafire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you.
Good morning! Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.